Learning a lot from myself, looking back at the film. I'm excited to grow.
You hit the receiver in stride really well. You've got pinpoint accuracy. How important is that as a quarterback?
My idea was really,
Yes, sir. Accuracy is important. That allows for run after catch. As a quarterback, your job is to distribute the ball to the playmakers. Let them guys do the rest. My biggest goal is just to distribute the ball when it needs to be there, how it needs to be there, and I'll let the guys do the rest.
Growing up
got a
in St. Louis,
master's
when did it
degree in
register
business, and
you
was
had
kind of
this
schooled
potential
out, to be honest. And
It's a little funny story. I would like to say that I was like my mom said, I was born with the ball in my hands. So kind of just growing up, I always loved the game of football, loved the quarterback position, something I really valued. And I knew that I wanted to be an NFL quarterback, and for me to be here, to be sitting here and talking to you guys is a blessing, a dream come true.
Who inspires you?
My mom and my little brothers. I'm the oldest of 5. That's why I wear number 5. But my family is what keeps me going.
Talk a little bit about your relationship with Sky Moore on your team, and just kind of what the guy that he is, and just not only just as a player, but also just as a friend that you have.
Yeah, Sky Moore is great, man. I mean, what you see is what you get. His hard work is unmatched. We spent a lot of time together in the off season. He sacrificed just as much as me. Guys went home for summer break. Me and him made a decision we were going to stay here, work on our chemistry, get things going. He's a great guy, man. Off the field carries on the field, and you guys were able to see what we were able to do on the field, and off the field is just as good.
Caleb, to get that big upset against Pitt this year, and really you were a star in that show against Kenny Pickett. You went duel to duel with him. What does it mean to have such a big star performance against a Power 5 team like that eventually became the ACC champions?
Yeah, so that was a big performance. That game a lot of people talk about, but the biggest thing is we were able to execute as a team, as a team, and it just kind of showed what we had as a team. Obviously the Pitt win was big, but every week you go out and try and execute as best as you can, and that week we end up executing as best as we can. We faced a good team, as you mentioned, the ACC champs. We had a good performance, so it was a blessing.
When you see rookies like Micah Parsons, Jamar Chase making an immediate impact, how does that inspire you?
It makes a great impact. I would just have to say, it's fuel to the fire. Fuel to the fire is what I like to call it. Just getting better each and every day, seeing those guys that they were in college last year now dominating at the next level. It just shows that it can be done, and it has been done, and has me give something to look forward to.
Do you have any impressions of Mike Tomlin as a coach in the NFL, and have you had any conversations with him specifically while down here in Indy?
At this point, I have not.
You mentioned preparation back in college. You had to get thrown into start sometimes. What did you learn from that experience?
So
you could translate to the
I'm pretty
NFL?
close with.
Yeah, so I was blessed and fortunate to be able to play as a true freshman due to starter John Watson. He ended up getting injured, and that meant a lot, for me to be. I actually graduated high school early. I start there, enrolled early. So talk about preparation, being able to be there in the spring, get familiar with the offense, learn the guys, that really helped me because I was able to throw in the fire my freshman year. I learned a lot throughout that time. I was a 4-year starter in high school, broke every record at my high school as far as, quarterback statistics. So, I had to learn how to be happy for someone else and learn how to contribute to the team without actually being in it. And when I was able to have my turn, I just go out there, my love for the game, just trying to execute as best as I can. He came back for his 5th year. My sophomore year, I redshirted. I learned even more. That was tough for me, but I learned a lot throughout that time. I learned how to still, as I mentioned, contribute to the team, still being vocal, still acting like the starter, being in early, staying in late, even though I wasn't the guy on the field making plays. And then, my junior and senior year, I was the starter, 2-year captain, and, I had a good season.
Can you take us through the process of enrolling early and what that takes in order to do that as a high school athlete?
Yeah, so it takes discipline and preparation and execution. It was something that, I set out pretty early. I had goals. I like to write out goals, and I like to achieve them. And, one of the goals is that I want to be able to compete for a starting spot, and it ended up paying off months later down the road when I was tossed into the fire. So, just going into every season, I always like to write goals and achieve them. this past season, one of my goals was to be able to beat a Power 5 team. Coming from a group of 5, the MAC conference, everybody kind of has that mentality with that chip on their shoulder that they want to execute and show that they can play. And, to be able to get their pick win against a good team, great quarterback, that was big. It just shows that hard work and dedication does pay off.
Which teams have you met with so far?
I met with several different teams, too many to kind of, say right now.
Have you met with the Broncos yet?
I have.
Yeah, how'd that conversation went?
It went pretty well.
You mentioned goals. What goals you set for yourself this week?
Yeah, so, my goals this week is just to be able to be myself, just showcase to the world who I am, both on and off the field. And what you see is what you get.
What are some of the quarterbacks that you might compare yourself to or that you've kind of taken from?
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of great quarterbacks in the game, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. I mean, the list goes on and on, When watching other quarterbacks, I just try to see what they do well, take little things, take little nuggets from each of their game and try to implement them into myself the best way I can. So I always stop learning. There's multiple ways to play quarterback. There's multiple ways to play quarterback. So, just seeing what they do well, and, each one has their own style, and they do what best fits them, and I try to do the same. I'm sorry?
Are you embracing being labeled a sleeper?
Quote unquote, like the dark horse. Funny thing is, I actually love horses. I really do. No, seriously. When I was younger, my granddad he took me to a racetrack. When I was just a little kid, and he said, "What horse?" And just seeing the horse, I actually chose the horse number 4. I remember it like it was yesterday. Horse number 4, and I'm just a little kid. Hey, horse number 4, it was yellow, and horse number 4 ended up winning. So, from that point on, I fell in love with horses. It's a beautiful animal, and I looked down at my jacket. I see I got number 4, so let's say that. Yes, it was Fairmount Park, Illinois.
Safety for Edelman to spit out, and get the run like a wheel route. So
yeah, I met with a few teams. Yeah, it went pretty well.
We definitely watch it. I watch it, especially on Sundays. Always try to.
Each interview is different. Each interview is different. But just being able to be in the same room with those guys and be able to talk ball and show them who I am is what's important. So.
Kaleb, what has it meant for you? Have you talked to Detroit? And if not, what would it mean to play for Detroit?
I'm sorry?
What would it mean to play for Detroit, staying in state?
Yeah, so, my last collegiate game was actually at the Detroit at Ford Field. So, we ended up winning our second bowl win in school history. A moment